Principals first in the blue corner to my right, wearing white trunks, black trim. He weighs 167 3/4 pounds with a professional record of 13 wins, 7 defeats, 2 draws. He has 9 knockouts. El hijo de la Caracas, Venezuela, now living in New York City, New York, Fermin Chirines. His opponent in the red corner, wearing black trunks, red trim. He weighs 168 pounds. He is undefeated in 23 professional fights. He has 21 knockouts. He hails from Pensacola, Florida. He is the IBF middleweight champion, Roy Jones Jr. 10 rounds, super middleweights.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the instructions in the dressing room. Protect yourselves at all times. Questions here, questions here. Give the people what they're paid to see.
Okay, they understand.
Well, that's something you don't have to tell Roy Jones. Give the people what they pay to see. That is what he is out to do. He feels there should be more entertainment in the fight game. He feels it is very difficult to entertain and fight at the same time. One thing he feels separates Roy Jones from the rest. And he steps in against Fermin Chirines, who has been able to demonstrate his staying power, 32-year-old veteran. He's gone distance fights with the likes of Lendell Holmes and Matthew Hilton and Tony Thornton and Mike McCallum. He fought Hilton to a 10-round draw. All the others were defeats, but going the distance. The only problem as far as Chirines is concerned, his last fight was against McCallum, and that was last May of '92. That's the only fight he has had in 2 years. 2 years ago in November, he lost in 10 to Tony Thornton. So he has been a very inactive fighter. Come in here to Pensacola to look to be a setup for Roy Jones, coming back home to fight as a world champion in a non-title fight in front of his fans. This is his 15th fight in Pensacola of his 24. Roy Jones, of course, was the Evander Holyfield of the '88 Olympic class. Robbed in Seoul to a Korean fighter in the finals. And recognizing the injustice, the International Amateur Boxing Association awarded Jones the Val Barker Award, which is emblematic of the outstanding boxer of the games. And didn't even have the gold medal.
Yeah, well, he said the amateurs taught him to be himself and taught him patience, something that he brings with him in the pro ranks. And also that flash that is so very important. That is the charisma inside the ropes.
And here in round number 1, it's all Roy Jones stalking his opponent, Fermin Chirines. And actually, it's better for Chirines if Jones doesn't open up the pace early. Chirines looking to get some of the rush off.
Yeah, there's part of the show that Roy Jones was talking about. Fermin Chirines says that Jones has not fought the type of competition, the caliber of opponents that I've faced. The opponents like the fighters that you just talked about, Tony Thornton, Steve Collins, Matt Hilton, Mike McCallum. He said he is inexperienced and I'm going to take him to school in the professional ranks.
Swing and a miss twice for Roy Jones.
Said he's going to go downstairs for the body early, but a lot of movement in these first few rounds. Then try to come on strong legs. Jones now turning to the southpaw stance.
He will be showing Fermin Chirines many looks.
Oh yeah, very adaptable fighter.
Round 1 is down in the scheduled 10-rounder. And Champ, you and I will be working again at ringside Monday night on the famed and fabulous Silk Stockings here on USA. Big fight coming up. Cruiserweight Danny Newland goes against Delino Deadmeat Dominguez. That is part of the heart of the story. You know, there may be a murder mystery involved. Are you a suspect?
I do not. I think everybody's a suspect until they find out who it is. The police on that show Silk Stockings are so good, and they always get who they're after.
Well, the Champ and I will be making a cameo appearance. Yes, we'll be part of the USA Tuesday Night Fight crew, handling what could be a great fight. Danny Newland, who do you like?
Danny Newland,
up and coming, undefeated. Deadmeat Dominguez is a contender. Is it just a tune-up?
I think Newland's on his way up.
All right, we'll find out Monday night. Looking forward to Silk Stockings.
Silk Stockings.
And it is a stalking Roy Jones in this fight against Fermin Chirines, the 32-year-old, originally from Caracas, Venezuela, now living in New York.
Silk Stockings Monday, December 10th at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on Pacific.
Silk Stockings, that's the repeat.
No,
if you missed the first one.
The repeat will be December 12th.
But I know you'll be tuned in on the original December 6th. Yes, we cover most of the bases here on USA. I know those who missed the original will have to watch one of those repeated.
There is an original in the ring right now. Roy Jones Jr. Fast punches, good left jab. He wanted to control this fight from the outside with the jab. He said that he's versatile. Outside he controls with the jab. Inside he controls with fast.
Also a sparring partner in the past with the likes of Virgil Hill, Lamar Parks, Mikey Sosa.
They've been around the block.
Yep. Reputed good chin, good right hand.
No fear of any fighter.
But Roy Jones, who comes out here, just now flailing away in the second round, looking to pick it up.
You know, Chirines saw that fight with Bernard Hopkins. But his manager and trainer, Lenny De Jesus, would only let him watch 1 minute of that fight. Said he did not want him to see too much.
Right, and you know what that 1 minute was?
He's finding out right now about Roy Jones.
Well, and that 1 minute was between rounds 3 and 4. Jones sitting in the corner.
And how good he was at sitting in the corner. He was one of the best,
terrific, moving around.
Best corner sitters ever. Good movement. Look at that. Just turn away from your opponent. Give him a different look, a different angle. He doesn't know what to do. He freezes momentarily. You walk away from him. And then plant back in. Very good move from Roy Jones. But he should have. Middleweight champion of the world.
Chirines against Keith Providence, an up-and-coming young fighter. Chirines knocked him out in the second round, so there certainly is that element of danger. That was 3 fights ago for Chirines, although second views to come. We will pause for this word. Pause for this word from your local cable system. Roy Jones comes out for round number 3 against Fermin Chirines. And after 2 rounds, Jones takes a seat in his corner and listens to his trainer, his former assistant Olympic coach, Alton Murkison.
I like once you use the jab a little bit more. Stop loading up so much. The power shot to come, Lord. Sit him up with that jab, okay? Yeah. Okay? There you go. Double it up and triple it up. The shot's coming. Slow him down now. He ain't moving his feet as much. You go catch it. You go catch it. Put a little lower. Okay.
Yeah, they wanted to slow him down with speed. They want Roy Jones to put Fermin Chirino in a shell.
And Roy Jones is not out here looking to end this very quickly. This is a big event in Pensacola, his first trip back as a world champion, and he wants to put on a show, give his fans money worth. He'll be entertaining, loosening up. You see the quick footwork and hand speed. He'll be putting it all on display. Chirino also has the staying power. So Jones should be entertaining, and then a little later in the fight, looking to close it out.
Yeah, Chirino said he's been training for this fight 8 months. Says that he is in terrific condition. He said it's very, very important in this match, though, that I go 10.
Well, if he is actually planning on staying in the ring, and now Jones playing in the ring.
Boy, heavy punch. See the wobbling legs of Chirino? Good left hook.
Straight right hand. Jones hurt that right hand prior to the championship fight against Bernard Hopkins, where he took out Glenn Wolfe in 1 round. Among the many punches in that round, he hurt his right hand. It's okay now, although there are those moments when he kind of feels the shocking pain.
Yeah, for a fighter to hurt his hand, it stays hurt forever. You constantly re-injure it in the gym, because these people have to box every day. They have to spar every day. Constantly hit the end of elbows over the top of your opponent's head or his shoulder, and that hurts your hand. You have to use your guns.
Look how tight Jones looks at 168. You wonder, how can he ever get down to 160 and be comfortable? But he says no problem. Although it looks like he has a title defense against Thomas Tate coming up in January and February. He's going to have to get back down to 160 before he gets up to 68 against Tony. Pensacola Civic Center, and putting on the show tonight, the hometown favorite Roy Jones in the black trunks, who also happens to be the IBF middleweight champion. And he has a mandatory defense. They're talking about a fight against Thomas Tate sometime in January or February. James Toney, the super middleweight champ, fights a mandatory against Tim Littles. Should the two champions get by, they are then talking about meeting for the super middleweight crown. Roy Jones going up, as you can see here at 168. Same weight as Tony.
Good punches.
And that will be
fast. This triple left hook that Roy uses is wonderful. Very few fighters throw a triple left hook. You see a double often, but you don't see a triple that much. I know Sugar Ray Robinson used it very well and very effective. But in order to do that, you have to be very quick, because every time you reach to throw that hook, you leave yourself open. And Jones is quick with it.
And Chirino does not demonstrate the hand speed to take advantage.
Exactly. Well, he is a fighter that tries to throw hard punches, and he's deliberate, but he's not quick. He's not fast. He's not fluid with his movements.
He's been taken out early only once in his career. That goes back to 1988 when Nigel Benn stopped Chirino in 2 rounds.
And he is the first to admit that he had no condition for that fight. He took them with him for the money. That was in AC, Atlantic City.
Thanks for the clarification. This is the 4th round and is scheduled for 10.
Good right hand to the body. Jones' punches are so quick and so sharp compared to Chirino's, who are clubbing shots. They're push shots. They're push punches.
Jones trying to tug up the trunks that are
push up those trunks.
Which is tough to do with the gloves on. Jones coming out of the '88 Olympics. The other fighters that have gone on to championships, Michael Carbajal, Riddick Bowe, Kennedy McKinney. also of that class, Ray Mercer, Anthony Hendrick, Andrew Maynard, Todd Foster, Kenny Gould, Kelsey Banks, to name a few. Final seconds of round number 4.
Here is what that speed will do for you. The speed that Alton Murkison was asking for in that third round, it'll get your opponent covering up, expecting punches, anticipating getting hit. Look at the covering up from Fermin Chirines. He knows he's going to get hit. Try to cover up, try to block some of those punches or get out of the way of them. Chirines now trying to put a little bit more pressure, it looks like, but that could be playing right in the hands of Roy Jones. Jones loves it when those fighters walk right to him. He takes a step back and power punches. It's easier to knock a man out when he's coming forward to you as opposed when he's running away. You have to hunt him down when he's running away.
There was that right hand by Chirines.
Good right hand, just over the top.
Jones acknowledging that that is the most effective part of his arsenal, but we haven't seen much of that tonight.
No, it's because he's been in that shell. The shell is Chirines gotten into is because of the speed of Roy Jones. When you just reach out and you get hit repeatedly with punches, finally you're going to change, you're going to do something else. And he just goes into putting his gloves up. And now backing off is Fermin.
That left hook there working for Roy Jones. He's been on a regular schedule, Sean. He fought Glenn Wolf in February of this year. Then 3 months later, when he fought Bernard Hopkins in May. 3 months after that, in August, when he fought Melinda. And now here in November, 3 months later, he's fighting Chirines. He's talking about a fight against Thomas Tate in 3 months. And then 3 months after that against Tony. Said he'd fight Tony right away, but right now feels that the money is just not there for it. Very attractive fight. One of the most attractive in many years on the fight scene.
Oh yeah. The money will be there if the fighters continue to win. They continue to showcase their wares on national TV. Exposure is the name of this game.
30 seconds left in the 5th round. Roy Jones performing in front of his adoring fans and getting some work in. Keep busy while some of those title fights are arranged. Down to 10 seconds in the 5th, and we will pause for these words from your local cable systems. You're watching USA's Tuesday Night Fights. Welcome back to the Civic Center in Pensacola. Al Albert along with the champ, Sean O'Grady. In the black trunks is the IBF middleweight champion, Roy Jones. And in the white, a lunging Fermin Chirines in this non-title bout. Chirines, 32 years old, out of Caracas, Venezuela, now living in New York, comes in with a record of 13-7-2 with 9 knockouts, although he disputes that record. Says that there's 7 other victories that should be on there, and that he's a 25 winner. Right now, not thinking of his record, but trying to defend against the onrushing Roy Jones.
Trying to remember where he is. Big left hooks from Roy Jones. That is his favorite punch. And you can see why. the left hook is a harder to punch to throw than the right hand. Most of the fighters who box in this right-handed stance, they're right-handed. Naturally, they have to reach around with that left hook. It's a hook, so it has further to travel than a straight right hand. But he throws it very well. That didn't happen by accident. Years of practice, been boxing his whole life. Worked with his father, Roy Sr., Roy Jones Sr., who was a former fighter himself. Jim Kidd, Roy Jones Jr. And Fermin Chirines, now at this point, he's got to put more pressure on. He's now trying to go backwards, and he is a fighter that cannot fight going backwards. He knows only one direction, and that is right straight ahead. Now is the time to turn this around. Go forward, throw punches. But it's hard to do when you get hit with 3 or 4 combinations at a time like Roy Jones hits you.
Chirines essentially afraid to punch because he knows he'll get 2 or 3 back.
Glove shot.
You know, he was known as a pretty good puncher as an amateur, but not so as a pro. Or the boxing ability that has gotten him by.
And the ability to take a punch. The ability to go distances.
The good chin.
Yeah.
6 rounds down, we still don't look now for Roy Jones to kind of turn up the pace in the late stages of this fight. He's got 6 rounds in front of his fans. Roy Jones, the fighter, and he also talked a little bit about the futures as he wants to have about 10 good fights, championship bouts in there, and also wants to get involved in promoting and handling other fighters, and this is one of his other fighters earlier tonight, Derek Gainer, who went to 9-1 with an impressive 12-round decision over Julian Flores, just about a shutout, and he won the IBO Continental Featherweight Championship, and at times looking like a replica of Roy Jones in the ring.
Yeah, at times, however, he is a southpaw. And that fight went pretty much like this fight is going. It has been all Roy Jones in this match.
Gainer, who spars with Jones, his manager. How many people out there would love to spar with their boss?
Yes, with their manager, yes.
Okay, a lot of hands up there. A lot of hands raised. And the boss in the ring so far here in this one, in our main event, is Roy Jones Jr. in the black trunks. And we move into the 7th round. You said this is a no-win situation for Roy Jones, but even if he's taken 10 rounds by Chirines, doesn't lose anything.
I don't know. If he goes
he's doing what he has to do. He's fighting for his hometown crowd. I don't think it'll take away.
Everybody out there has critics, and the critics are going to say, hey, why isn't he knocking the fighters out like Chirines? He's beat him every round, yes, but why is he not laying him on the canvas?
I don't think he's really gone for it yet.
No, he's still playing. He's still having fun.
I think he could call the round and the time if he wanted to.
Can we call the round and the time? You would be saying round 7, 150.
And you'd be wrong.
No. Hard to get through that defense.
He has yet to pour it on, and now he's hearing it from the crowd, egging him on. They've seen, all right, we got our money, we've seen enough, we've seen 6 rounds. Now do it, close in. Chirines there gets his best punch in. Yep.
There was a right hand that he landed in the 4th round, but that was a better shot. The left uppercut. Chirines needs more of those. I think the right hand in the 4th round was the last shot he landed.
Almost a 360 by Roy Jones, not intending to the left. It was that also 360.
Now, this is a difficult position, too. You've got your opponent into that shell. Every time you feint at him, he's going to cover up. Well, you have to do something to try to knock him out. What do you do? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do, but it's all a learning experience. You can reach over and grab his hand, pull him down, or you can feint and then go in. It's very frustrating because your opponent knows you're trying to knock him out. One thing I noticed earlier in this fight, Roy was doing, he was varying the intensity on his punches. Perhaps now he should get back to that, so that Chirines takes some of these and accepts them.
Next week on Tuesday Night Fights, from the Palace, 2 young undefeated middleweights go head-to-head. And undefeated heavyweight Jeremy Williams, his first big test, and I do mean big, against Garing Lane. Then, in 2 weeks, the celebration is on. The 100th professional fight for the legendary Roberto Duran. In that same night, Samson Paua puts his undefeated record on the line against the veteran Eric Curry. In the corner of Fermin Chirines, looks like he's had 100 professional fights. Worn down by Roy Jones over the course.
Now he's getting it from Lindsay de Jesus and Chino Govan. They want more of these punches. That was his best shot. See the left uppercut set up by the right, the overhand right. But then Chirines wants him on the ropes, and Chirines backs up.
And the crowd calling for Roy Jones, sensing that he's going to turn it up, and he does right out of the chute here in round number 8. The left hook sends Chirines reeling throughout this evening.
Yeah, and one thing about that hook is when your opponent pulls back like Chirines did, you have to really reach with it or miss him. That punch missed him. And when you reach with that hook, that's when there's a lot of danger because you can run into a right hand, and a straight right hand beats a left hook every time.
Jones is kind of stepping back, studying his canvas and what kind of picture he's going to paint. He's holding his hands at waist level. But the Chirines does just now have the speed, the snap to try to strike Jones over his gloves.
Yeah, now Chirines worried about the 10-round distance and worried about not getting knocked out, not getting hit. But every time Jones gets close, his hands go up, he pulls back, try to take the power out of the punch, try to roll with it. There they are again. No retaliation. Just let's get to that final bell. You know, it's important in this sport to have power, but speed beats power, and speed is power.
So Jones looking ahead to defending his middleweight crown for the first time. 2 consecutive non-title fights. Don't see that very often. Oh, that was it from underneath. And Chirines goes down here in the 8th round.
And Fermin is out on his feet.
Wondering whether he is in Caracas or New York.
Legs are wobbly.
But indeed in Pensacola, the hometown of the man who's now trying to put him away.
Oh, he's ready to go. Referee better stay close. Now is the time that we need to see that explosion from Roy Jones. This fight will be over. Look how close this referee is. He's waiting for an opportunity to stop this fight. And Jones is giving it to him.
Chirines hanging in there, though. He knows how to do that. Will he get to the 9th round? I believe so.
immediately over Chirino, trying to wake him up. Here it is. You can sense that the end is near. The right uppercut does the damage. The right leg of Chirino goes to sleep, and down he goes. Then a little bit later in the round, well, there it is, the right uppercut, and kaboom. Chirino would survive that. He got up, went back to the rope. The ropes, and it was all Roy Jones Jr. Big 8th round for him.
Chirino determined to go the distance. Was a minute enough in between rounds to clear the cobwebs?
Yeah, determined to go the distance, because in this sport, if he could go the distance with Roy Jones, the phone will be ringing tomorrow for Chirino. And a great opponent for fighters, because he does just enough to lose. He doesn't like the speed, and he's there for the whole distance. If another fighter, another middleweight, can pick him up and maybe knock him out, they can try to draw some kind of comparison between themselves and Roy Jones. Oh, big right hand. Jones wants the knockout. He wants the knockout, but look how patient he is. He's waiting to set the punches up. Downstairs to the body. Try to get your opponent reaching for those body shots like he's reaching to the head. Then what do? They drop their hands, going for the body shots, and kaboom upstairs.
Action is scheduled for 10. And Champ, time permitting here tonight, we'll take another look at the end of a very exciting fight. Wayne McCullough earlier tonight against Jerome Coffey. I should say a very exciting fighter. And what was to be the biggest test in the young career of Wayne McCullough, the undefeated fighter from Ireland, former Olympic silver medal winner. Bell to bell bomb. It looks like we're about to see the end of this fight. More pressure this round. Master punches, good snap. But Fermin still hanging in there. Tough, durable. Strictly one-sided affair. Yeah. Roy Jones in another non-title fight, getting the work he's been looking for. The hometown crowd reveling in what is no contest whatsoever. Chirino, who went down in the 8th, now survives his way through the 9th and is one round away from completing this fight.
You ain't punching now. You ain't punching now. Last round. Last round. We saw my ear.
Very relaxed in Roy Jones' corner. You know, he's talking to his corner man. It's like another day at the office for him.
Cakewalk for Roy Jones. Now the only question of whether Chirino could put the L10 on the ledger. Lost 10-round decision.
Oh, is that what that stands for?
Just to clarify, you were listening good.
Finally, somebody cleared that up.
Lost. So it was a clear comment. I hope you don't mind me fielding that one, Champ. One knockdown in this fight, 8th round. Chirino was down and was able to survive the round. Happened late in the 8th.
The right uppercut is the punch that put Chirino down.
And with Jones, you never have to worry if you're in his corner of your fighter just putting one punch out there at a time.
You know, between rounds, they were saying what we talked about in his corner. They said, now you've got him where he's not throwing punches. You know, he's in that shell. Talking about Chirines.
Oh, he's just still running away.
You got to get him out of there.
Yeah.
They say it's time to end this fight. Turn it up.
Imagine
asking for the knockout.
Roy Jones even admitted now at 168 that he has lost a little bit of his speed. So just imagine if this is Roy Jones losing speed, what he was like as a middleweight, 160. And you really look forward to seeing Jones matching this skill against the best in the division and fighting championship fights.
Oh yeah, it's head and shoulders above, fighters like Fermin.
Yeah, but he's
Hopkins. I mean, he won almost every round with Hopkins, and Hopkins was there the whole time. Hopkins was trying it in the best of his ability to win that fight, and I was so impressed with the focus and the dedication that Bernard Hopkins had in that match.
Yeah, but one reason Roy Jones has fought 2 non-title fights now is because he just feels the money hasn't been there for championship fights. He says, I don't want to be the guinea pig and put it on the line. But he has also said that he's the best fighter in the world. I mean, he's turning down figures like $500,000 because he wants $1 million, and meanwhile, the middleweight division is stagnant.
Waiting, yes, it is a logjam. They're all waiting for that $1 million payday.
And in the end, Jones does not put out Fermin Chirines, and this dance goes the distance. So Roy Jones gets the workout. He gives 30 minutes of pleasure to his hometown crowd and will pick up his 24th consecutive victory, but only the 3rd fight in which he hasn't disposed of his opponent. The other 2 fighters that have gone the distance with him was Bernard Hopkins in the championship fight and Jorge Castro. Jones had knocked out his first 17 opponents before Castro went the distance, and now add Bernard Hopkins and the famed Fermin Chirines to the list.
Well, Fermin wanted to go the distance. He did. Now his stock goes up. He'll get on the circuit.
Welcome back to Pensacola. The crowd now awaiting the decision. No suspense, though, in this one. 10 rounds. Roy Jones just pitching the shutout, and let's make that official. Let's go to Mark Bito.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges at ringside, Judges Vincent Thomas, Fred Sowers, and Jay Cassis, have scored the bout 189, all to the winner and still undefeated, Roy Jones Jr. Jones Jr.
There are 2 fighters who are both thrilled with the decision, Roy.
Fermin's glad he's not getting hit anymore.
Yeah.